So all of this is going on. So they know it's a danger to come out and attack her because that elevates her, but they did it from somebody we supposedly would trust, a Glenn Beck, a Benedict Arnold in our Army. And so, again, that shows how viable she is, that they did this whole rumors of her demise have been greatly exaggerated. And that's why I'm spending so much time on this, is because Beck has been positioned to engage in key sabotage at every juncture. Ron Paul's surging. He says he may be a terrorist who wants to bomb buildings. We need to use the Army against Ron Paul supporters, 2007. Medina's surging, about to lead the states' rights rebellion. In comes in the enemy TIE fighters blasting at her X-Wing. Stay there. Michael Badnarik will continue to talk about the Great Awakening that's happening and a lot more. All right, going back to Michael Badnarik, our guest, ladies and gentlemen. Michael, fire out your website for folks that just joined us.
My website is constitutionpreservation.org, and I want you to know that it just went live with a new design a half an hour ago. Just when I knew I was going to be on your program, I went ahead and went live with the new design. Should be prettier, easier to navigate, and I'm very excited about it. So it's constitutionpreservation.org.
Well, again, good to have you here. And, of course, the books and films and things you've made are all available there on the site as well. You know, so much to talk about, Michael. I want to get into ClimateGate, go over the swine flu fraud falling apart, the banks robbing everybody. That's now revealing the structure, why the globalists are now admitting world government after decades of denying it. But before we go there, what does Michael Badnarik want to talk about? What's most important on your mind right now?
Well, I'm probably lucky that I was in a coma when the ATF shut down the gun show in Austin, because I probably would have had an adverse reaction to that. I want to make sure that we get that gun show back up and running someplace, and I want everybody to know that 23,000 gun laws in the United States are unconstitutional, because they directly infringe on your right to protect yourself, your family, your property. And the ATF is a federal agency that spends $900 million, almost $1 billion a year, trying to put gun dealers and gun owners out of business. So I can't let that happen in my backyard. So that's my big issue. I'm not sure exactly what we can do about it. I know that people in Austin have already had a huge rally to protest that. That's my personal hot button.
Well, absolutely. And I have been studying this. You know, we broke the story about the gun show, had Mr. Bedecker on about what happened. They did get a new location at the Target Center. He's on in the last 30 minutes today to talk about that. But it then came out that the feds did come in, did basically order it. The police tried to lie, later admitted it when we pointed out they had no law. And they said, oh, well, we used a crack house nuisance abatement to shut it down. And then we've also found out that clearly, and I didn't believe this at first, I had to see it, and I may cover it coming up the next few days, clearly people working for the police and the ADL are involved even in the Austin pro-gun movement, trying to destabilize it and things, and even go after me. And it blew me. They even write articles how great the ADL is, and they write about me being bad and, you know, staging these different events. I mean, it's getting really crazy, which shows Austin is a test ground example of what they want to do nationwide. And Obama announced, as you know, earlier in the week, they said, look, signing statements, executive orders, we're going to implement the carbon taxes regardless around Congress. We're going to implement government health care even if Congress doesn't pass it. We're going to implement amnesty even if the Congress doesn't pass it. I mean, Michael, this is tyranny. It's just getting worse and worse.
Oh, it is treason to an exponential degree. And it is. It's because of this blatant tyranny that our fellow citizens are finally starting to wake up. I remember back in 1997, I met you for the first time. We were participating in a rally at the state capitol. I don't even remember what our issue was, but you and I were trying to wake people up over 10 years ago. And now, finally, the government is being so preposterous that the people who didn't believe us, the people who thought that you and I were radical and extremists, now they're starting to realize that we were telling them the truth, and they are now on board with this patriot movement. So the government in a backhanded way is helping us to wake the people up and to get them on our side.
Well, here's another example. The National Post, the Toronto Star, last week reported in their headlines that pharmacies, drugstores, health food stores get notices, stop selling all vitamins, minerals, and nutrients, including vitamin C, Melaleuca oil, things like fish oil. They listed things like, what's the plant they use for burns? Aloe vera.
Aloe vera, yes.
And they said under UN treaty with Codex Alimentarius, that was a huge wake-up call. I mean, this is really going on.
It really is. And like I said, you and I have been telling the people, and they just didn't believe us. They were in denial. Our government would never do anything like that. The United States is the good guys. Congress would never. Well, wake up, ladies and gentlemen, because they will, they are, and it is up to us. Freedom is our responsibility.
Long segment coming up with Michael Badnarik. Okay, going back to Michael Badnarik. Michael, I mean, you were dead for 10 minutes. You were in a coma for 2 weeks. I mean, it's just so good to have you here because we all just expect our friends and our colleagues, people we admire, to be here forever. But I agree with you. I realize how transitory life is. There's been a few times in my life I've almost been killed. And in a way, it makes me be less fearful about death to just know it's coming. And obviously, you're going to be here for a long time. I hope at some level you take it easy sometimes. But I know in a way, you'll live to be 100 if you just keep fighting. But I guess so it's kind of a catch-22. But it's just so good to have you here with us, my friend.
Well, it is good to be here. As a skydiving instructor, I know that life is transitory. We have to take advantage of every moment that we are here. And I highly recommend that you talk to your family, your friends, and tell them how much you love them. Tell them how important they are in your life, because you don't know when either they will disappear or when you will. And the same is true for fighting for liberty. Don't postpone it. Don't do it next week, or I'll go and get a power generator next month, or when it's more convenient. Do it now. We've got to get on board.
I'll go to a gun rally next year. I'll go to city council and tell them, don't bring in UN-run carbon taxes. No, you got to do it now, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely. Now, while you're still alive, while you still have the energy. And it was my love of liberty that brought me back. It was a little bit like I've been practicing football, and now, right before the Super Bowl, I'm going to, cash in my chips. There's no way. Alex, I love you, but I'm not going to let you fight for liberty all by yourself. I just had to be here and help you out.
Well, you're a classy guy, my friend, and you get better like fine wine as the years go. I mean, the great presentations, the constitutional classes you give. Are you going to be giving any of those in the future?
Absolutely. I'm kind of keeping it close to home as I recover. I'll be teaching a class in Farmers Branch here in Dallas on March 6th. I'm coming to Austin on March 13th, and I'll be in Fort Worth on March 20th. So anywhere here in Texas, you can go to my website, constitutionpreservation.org, to find out more information. My phone number's there. Just give me a call. I'd love to have,
Well, Michael, I'm not going to tell you take it easy, because I've read the statistics where a lot of people have a heart attack, they take it easy, and then they die. It seems to be those that do keep doing stuff that, that recover, because the body recognizes that. Sometimes you have a heart attack and the body says, well, it's time to check out. So obviously you're doing the right thing here, but take it easy a little bit, bro. I mean, you just came out of a coma. How many weeks ago?
It was about a month now. It was early January, and I was in the hospital for an additional 2 weeks. When I finally opened my eyes, my best friend was there, and he said, "Do you know who you are?" And I thought, well, that's pretty condescending. Of course I know who I am. And he says, "Do you know what day it is?" And I was supposed to give a speech on December 21st. And so I'm thinking, well, I don't know, maybe December 22nd. And he says, "It is January 6th. I said, 2010? He goes, Yeah. And so it was a little bit like discovering that you're adopted after you're 50 years old. I mean, it was just a shock. I mean, I had to sit there and evaluate that and go, wow. I said, I missed Christmas. He said, yeah, you missed New Year's too. So it was very serious, and I am again thankful to everybody who showed their concern. I've still got get well cards that I really haven't had time to open, but the most important thing is that I am back. I am back with a vengeance, and I'm getting back on the Liberty Trail as of March 6th.
Well, that's certainly fantastic, Michael, but at the same time, I was told that these heart problems run in the family.